face, and he was like, yeah, like, bro, like, yo, like, there's no NFTs out there for the African American community. Like, I haven't seen a project solely dedicated to African American community. I'm like, yo, you on to something. So I'm just like, all right, bet. So I started, literally the next day, me and my man Jason was watching the Greenwood District, which is the original Black Wall Street documentary. I don't know why I was watching it, which is random, right? So things started clicking, my mind started clicking. I went back to my friend Mike, and I'm like, yo, like, how about if I recreated the Black Wall Street through NFT art?
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. This is episode number 6, BTL Podcast. Markese here, of course. And we got my boy Usman Tijani, man. Super glad to have you come out. So real quick, go ahead and just, introduce yourself to the family. Where you from, your upbringing, and just a little bit about what's going on.
For sure. Well, thank you for having me, bro. My name is Usman Tijani, born and raised in Willingboro, New Jersey. Well, actually born in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Then I moved to Willingboro. Nigerian, few siblings, 3 brothers.
You the youngest or middle? Which you middle?
I'm like the second youngest. 3 brothers and an older sister. So second youngest. Yeah, grew up. Wow.
Tell me real quick, because you're Nigerian, so real quick, what was that culture like for you? You know what I mean?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing was education. Yeah. Education was huge in the African household. Just being smart and applying yourself. You want to be the golden child at school. Growing up, I was smart, but like I wasn't the golden child.
I can imagine.
I was sometimes I was the class clown. Sometimes I was, I was just not being the norm. But I mean, I never did nothing too bad. You know what I'm saying? But definitely education was a big one. And I feel like throughout, I was like top 30 in high school. I had a great GPA in college. But like, African culture is just education.
That's tough. And for those of y'all that's tuning in, man, I definitely want y'all to know that we did attend the same university, so that's a little bit about how I met him. Great individual, from student leadership to being the guys on campus. Shout out to the BBB gang. But that's how we kind of built that relationship. But furthermore, I kind of want you to just really talk about real quick just what your college experience was like. Even going from being Nigerian. When did you come to were you born? You was born in Nigeria?
Nah, I wasn't. I was even.
So you was born in the US.
Born and raised. Yeah.
Okay, you born and raised in the US. I bet. So that kind of shifts the question. So back to like you kind of knowing what you know about your your original home, Nigerian and education. How did that kind of matriculate to your college experience? What was your college experience like, or even just school experience in general, from elementary, middle school, high school, and then to college? What was all of that like?
Yeah, so like my parents always had a barrier trying to get used to the U.S. culture, and I feel like they utilized us as kids to get a head start on it. So they always focused on how to, technology-wise, making sure that we were good on computers, being able to speak English correctly, math, everything. Because at the end of the day, my mom came here when she was like 26, 27, and my pop the same thing. So like they still been here for 20 years, and they still have some, have some struggles on getting used to the American culture, but. Just focusing on just being a better you so we could help them out was like their main key. And then when I got to Del State, funny story is my mom, she has a twin sister. Like we came to we came to an open house. She came and that's my first time. I didn't really know what HBCUs were. I went to a Votech school in high school, so I was like, I just took culinary just so I could.
What's a Votech school?
So pretty much it's like a school where you have trades.
Okay.
So pre-engineering, a trade school pretty much. Okay. So you'll have your regular high school classes, then you'll have your trade classes integrated with your curriculum. And I took culinary. Okay. The only reason why I took it because I was just trying to get some food before basketball games. Honestly, yeah,
you said I was trying to get some food. So you was a basketball player in high school? Was it high school?
Yep.
What position you played?
Guard. I was played varsity all 4 years. Finally got my chance to start and actually run the team my senior year. Pretty dope. Then I was supposed to try to come here and hoop for DSU. Like my coach, I miss basketball. I still helped them out today. That's how I ended up tearing my Achilles not too long ago.
That's what's up. Yeah. And me kind of knowing you too, like you've always been an individual who's really like how can I say, you're a real people's person, I shall say. You know what I mean? So like, one thing I noticed about you is you're very people oriented. You love just having conversations. You love meeting new people. You love networking. So kind of talk about, the leadership aspect of your college experience, right? You go from being, in small organizations to obviously kind of put you in a position to, do things for the university, and then you become a president of a university. So what was the leadership standpoint like for you in college? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
was it different, or like did you knew that's what you wanted to do?
I didn't know. So like when I first got to college, I just thought like, I'm gonna be smart and I'm just get my way through. But then like when I got my first semester grades, I had like a 3.8. Usually in high school, like teachers would be idolizing you. You would get some phone calls, like nothing happened. So I'm like, damn. So like grades ain't enough.
That's like the real test in college, because it's like that's when you really realize you by yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't imagine what that was like to get that 3.8. But you could say what you.
So then after that, I'm like, all right, damn, I gotta do more. So Kasai was my RA at the time, right? So I just talked to him about RA and say like, yeah, I get a chance to bond with y'all and all that good stuff. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna be all right. So I ended up, I was good. I was cool with the whole staff. So they was like, yo, apply. And then I ended up working there my sophomore year. And then that was like, I would say that's like my first leadership opportunity, just be able to, oversee a group of men or a group of individuals in general. So I got a chance to do that. Great experience. Had a great haul. Both times I did the RA for like a full year, and I had 2 different wings. And then after that, then the God Brothers, right? So I seen you, Steve. I seen and even Sheldon and Kadeem with the mobile side, right? All y'all. I'm like, all right, let me join the org, see what's going on, right? And then join regular member, putting in the work, get bonding with the guys. Then Steve was like, yo, like, so you want to be president? I'm like, well, yeah. Like, let me get that. So became president. Ran the Gobbers. I think we was like the best male org on.
That phase I was turning it up. Man. I can't even lie, because I remember I was on Mocha, man, and at the time, our organization wasn't doing what we needed to do, and I just remember seeing y'all. I'm like, yo, I loved it because it was just men. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to see men kind of, have that type of camaraderie was like, it was really dope to really see that. So that was definitely a good thing. And then obviously that stage you went to, the big dog stage. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So then after that, I'm like, yo, let's shoot for hire. And crazy story was I wasn't even supposed to be like, so I ended up being SJA president, right? I was supposed to be like a recording secretary, but like the ladder just kept moving, chain pieces and everything. Then boom, next thing you know, I'm the president. And I'm just like, wow, like I ain't even asked for this, but it just ended up falling in my lap. And I thank Allah, everything happened for a reason. Right. So being the school president at the time and only even handling a semester and a half, because we didn't even get to finish the full one because of the pandemic. But the fall semester, man, I think we just shake the room, especially with BBB, like the other just integrating. We was integrating student organizations with outside organizations, and we was doing a great job at it.
And real quick, I'm gonna even talk about what that is real quick, because I know like people that may be listening and watching. So BBB, for myself and Uzi, we went to the same school, Del State, but BBB was just like a group of young men, student leaders more specifically. But in addition to the student leaders, you had like our boys, like people that we were very close with, that kind of gave you the doing what you had to do in school, but also showing you that lifestyle that you could also have fun. You know what I mean? And we kind of wanted to be that, for the university. And it was so fun, like the last 2 years that we had it, or whatever the case may be, because we were just having, off-campus events and all of this stuff. But the main thing that we didn't lose sight of was getting the job done. You know what I mean? So
for BS,
definitely had to shout the guys out. So you had the presidency, and my thing for you was, what was the biggest takeaway for you during that? Because even though that wasn't something that you originally went for, you know what I mean, but ultimately landed in your lap, what was the biggest takeaway from that whole experience of being president, but more so knowing that I don't want to say it wasn't something that you worked for, because you put the work in, but knowing that you was handed such a position, like what was that experience like, and did you have to make any adaptions to like really take over the way that you really wanted to, take over or lead, I should say, the university?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it tested my leadership. So like from you handling 5,000 other students. You got their life in your hands as far as feedback, being that bridge from students to faculty to the president. It was overwhelming at first. You know, Steve was sending me all these reports and stuff that he had to start doing, all these orientations. At first, I had to take a step back Monday. I'm just like, yo, just breathe.
Right.
Because like it was like, despite everybody thinking it's just a position, it's a lot of pressure. You got people, especially homecoming, right? You got so many students just bugging you about different issues, and you have to meet with so many different individuals. It's like, I'm only one person.
Right.
But then like it tested my leadership, and I was like, yo, I have a whole entire executive board, not even just an executive 5, but people underneath, part of these different organizations that can also help. So then being able to actually, I started treating it like a project. Like SGA was a project, and our whole goal was to make the campus a better place for the students. So you had different stakeholders, which are like the different pillars: Men's Council, Women's Senate, all them different orgs that you can utilize to get the job done. So then that sort of eased the way. And then I kind of made us like a little family. Like I wasn't a bossy leader. I just like getting stuff done though.
Right.
Like we gonna get stuff done, but we also gonna have fun. Like
you should.
Yeah. So like I always had, like, shout out to Ash. Like I told Ash, like, you could be the face of the campus, but for me it's straight business.
Word up.
So it was a good experience.
And you bring up a good point with the whole, you know, just breathing aspect. You know, because I think that's another message that, you know, a lot of the listeners need to even really take in, because you know, for some of y'all that may be listening or watching or whatever, you know, you may have outside of leadership, you know, it could be, you know, life problems or whatever the case may be. It's going to be moments where, of course, you have that overwhelmed moment of like, oh my God, I got so many things going on. But sometimes you do got to take that moment to step back and breathe and relax. You know what I mean? And really realize that I don't think you're going through anything that you can't handle, and that everything is going on for a reason. So that's great advice for you. And how important is it to do that though? You know what I mean? Because you kind of got handed in that, you got placed in that student leadership role. You realized that it tested your leadership. So how important was it for you to breathe? Like, do you feel as though if you didn't have that moment to really self-reflect, it kind of would have been like a bad turn for you? Or like, so how important was it to really look at things from a macro level and really say, you know what, let me just take things a day at a time?
I would have crashed out. Point blank period.
Overworked yourself.
Yeah, I would have crashed out. If I never would have just told myself like, yo, just settle down, breathe, like I would have crashed out for sure. Because at that point you just are running a running bullet train with no brakes, right? Eventually you're gonna slide off the rail. So I definitely didn't want that to happen. Like mental health, y'all stress it a lot. Like it's important.
Absolutely.
Like you have to realize like, yo, like I gotta chill. Because if you don't, you're gonna crash yourself out, and nobody's gonna let you know but yourself.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. That's a good point. And now with the leadership, you go from that to, you know, your business now, entrepreneurship, and this. Now we're getting to the good part, because this is what I really want to educate the people on. You know, I'm very big on making sure that the people that are watching and listening is getting educated on something that's very, very powerful. And I know me for myself, you know, being a part of a network marketing space and, you know, crypto and Forex, but now we have something, you know, which is a lot bigger, which is a hot boy in NFTs. You know what I'm saying? So if you can elaborate on what that business is for you, and you know, talk about, you know, your big project that you got going on right now.
Sure. So I'll even double back to like my first entrepreneurial venture, which was tie-dye socks in high school. I was selling tie-dye socks, like certified opportunists. That was our name, and we made like two pairs of socks with like cotton candy and watermelon. And we pulled up to school. Everybody started like, yo, can I order a pair? I'm just like, yo, I just made these for myself. The next thing you know, I had like two other people on the team. We just started making some socks. That was really like the first entrepreneurial, and I'm like, yo, I could really, if I put my mind to it, I could touch some money somehow, right? So then I got to college, freshman year, me and my roommate and my best friend, Ty, she was like, yo, we gotta make some money. Started a clothing brand. Slum City Worldwide, transition to Slum Apparel. So then you had that. Then I'm just like, now I'm just gonna start figuring out different ways to just figure out how to utilize myself, right? So I always tell people like, maximize your potential so you can help others do the same. That's the biggest thing, right? So then moved on to, what was the next? I think it was sports betting. So me and my shout out to Mo, right? We started 98 Exclusive Blocks, sports betting consulting company. So if you want to learn how to bet or unsure what to pick, like this is what we do for you, right? Then seen the photo booths going on. I'm like, all right, let me tap into this too, right? So I looked it up on Alibaba. Was affordable. I'm like, just think about long term. Bought the machine, and I put the story on Instagram. Like the reason why I bought it because I didn't feel like paying my car insurance.
I remember I saw that post. I saw that post.
Yeah,
I saw that post.
Like I was so lazy, right? I'm like, I don't feel like paying my car insurance off of my actual money. I'm like, let me go buy something that's going to be able to do this and create some cash flow. So I bought the photo booth, started getting some gigs, and this is why we're going to networking, right? Staying connected with the school really was big. So like Del State probably, like shout out to Del State because I done got the photo booth rented out dozens of times, right? And even the end of this month is about to be crazy too. So like, and then moving forward, then it's just like, all right, let me just continue to mold myself. So I ended up talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about the NFT and crypto space, and he was like, yeah, like, bro, like, yo, like, there's no NFTs out there for the African American community. Like, I haven't seen a project solely dedicated to African American community. I'm like, yo, you on to something? So I'm just like, all right, bet. So I started, literally the next day, me and my man Jason was watching the Greenwood District, which is the original Black Wall Street documentary. I don't know why we was watching it. We was just watching it. Random, right?
See, so, working, bro.
Yeah, so things started clicking. My mind started clicking. I went back to my friend Mike. And I'm like, yo, like, how about if I recreated the Black Wall Street through NFT art?
It's tough.
He's like, yo, you're on to something. So that's why the Greenwood District Society project was created. And its sole purpose is to recreate the Black Wall Street through NFT art. And NFT, what it stands for is non-fungible token. And pretty much it's a token that can't be duplicated. It's solely recognized as one-to-one, and you're the only holder, and you can track the transactions on how you decide to trade it, if you decide to trade it off. From there, we broke down our 5 pillars, what we wanted to focus on in our project, and I thought about the Greenwood District itself. Like, you know, we had restaurants in there, we had barbershops, it had hotels, it had movie theaters. So you got travel, leisure, entertainment, you got food, health, you got drugstores. So we broke it down 5 pillars: food, health, wealth, higher education, travel, leisure, and entertainment.
Amazing, bro. All
Black-owned businesses within those pillars, right? So we started it off late February, and then we started launching our pitches to Black-owned businesses worldwide. So we started getting some hits. We sitting down with different individuals, and then we finally got our first partnership with Motown Square Pizza in Washington, D.C. Great guy. Shout out to Paulos. Just believed in the message and the project. Took it upon us, and then we got Fox News to do an interview with us. From there, now it's like the project's starting to build momentum. Unreleased news because we didn't even release to the media yet, but we just signed the #1 brunch spot in Philly, Brotherly Grub Cafe.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Huge congrats, bro.
Unreleased news. Yeah, appreciate it. So now it's just like we doing a countdown. Our project is launching April 30th. So every day we just call it like, so for instance, what's today? The 14th, right?
It's 14th. Yep.
So 16 days worth of partner pressure, and that's just pretty much attacking the partners, trying to get them on board to sign with us. And it's been a phenomenal project, man. It's eye-opening.
So going back to more specifically the NFT aspect, you know, I understand, you know, the connections and everything that y'all got going on, but just really to dive more into the NFT, I'm sure you have the knowledge on it. So how exactly, you know, just for somebody that may want to know, right?
Yeah.
Like, how exactly do somebody get started in that space? Like, what advice can you give somebody that's like, you know, wanting to look more into NFTs? What would you recommend to them to be able to go ahead and get tapped in?
Yeah, so for sure. So like, first off, don't do it because of the money. Because that's what I learned. Gary Vee said it, like, don't do it for the money. But make sure the project is meaningful. So every NFT is derives from a project, right? So every project is different. You got Bored Ape Yacht Club, you got Gary V Friends, Greenwood District Society, right? You have different projects. And those projects have different type of utility, which is what you can utilize the NFT for. It could be as simple as you get access to a certain conference. It could be as simple as, you get the royalties from your NFT being used in different movies and stuff. So each project is different. So you want to make sure you usually they have Discords where they talk about their project. We have a Discord as well, and they'll talk about their project, what it's about, what's their roadmap, what they're looking to do, what they already have done, and then you also want to notice the credibility. Who's backing up the project? Has has news articles seen it, or and be mindful for different celebrities, because you know paid promotion is a thing.
Right.
So be mindful of certain promotions are happening. One person that I was admiring, that I was telling you earlier about, Snoop Dogg. He's done a phenomenal job in taking advantage and utilizing the NFT space. You know, he did his NFT concert inside the metaverse. That's real.
And that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I put it in like 3 different steps. First, figure out the project, figure out who's backing it, and then see if it's a project that you want to invest yourself in. Because at the end of the day, every NFT is like an investment, and investments are 50-50. It's either going to be worthy or it's going to fail.
Right.
So and then from there, it's just like, you know, you see where things go. Usually, I think NFTs for me, like based off of what I see, it's a long-term thing. Depending on the hype too. If things can move faster and you can decide to sell it off, it could be a short-term gain, or it could also be a long-term 10, 20-year gain.
That's dope.
But yeah.
That's dope. So just so I can make sure I get the concept right, because it's something I'm learning about as well. Like I didn't want to tap into this space yet because I just wanted to make sure I had the time, and I was really putting the effort into. So just to make sure I'm getting the concept, I'm going to use GVO for an example, right? You know, that's a clothing brand.
Yep.
Let's say GVO was to create an NFT, right? If you create an NFT, your NFT, you want to have a utility, and utility meaning a perk for the person that purchases it or invested in it. So let's say we create an NFT. We create an NFT where if you invest into the NFT or if you purchase it, every time you order something, you'll get a 10% off of another item or something.
Yeah.
Like is that a utility? Like is that an idea of what an NFT is?
Yeah, and the utility can be based off of whatever you want it to be, right?
Okay.
So let's say like y'all drop, let's say the beer, right? Y'all create GVO beers. You create 1,000 of them, right? All different variations, all look different, but it's still the same outline. When they purchase it now, they enter a GVO Clothing Brand 101 package seminar. So now they have access on the ins and outs on how to create their own clothing brand, right? Full educational course laid out. You give the access to them. That could be a perk. So the perk depends on the project.
And is it one perk, or it can be as many as you want?
It depends on the project. Whatever you want to do. And think about it. Whatever's in your bandwidth for whoever's owning the project, you can throw out there. Whatever you can back up, feel free to throw out there, and that's what makes your NFT valuable, depending on whatever you decide to add to it. So
that's tough. So I mean, I guess the concept. So look, if you're listening and you're watching, definitely make sure you get educated. And where can people go to actually get educated on this stuff? So I mean, of course, you know you got you know social medias and all that, but like, is there any specific resources that you can recommend or to kind of help the average person?
It's a couple. So.
And I'll drop the information in the links if you give me like links or anything.
So I got a whole bunch of links, but to start off, OpenSea, which is like the eBay of NFTs, they have educational, like I want to say workshops, but resources on pretty much NFT 101s. Like the beginning, for dummies, whatever the case may be. If you have no knowledge, they have a good layout on what NFTs are, what they can be utilized for, how to make them. There's also different articles, like Forbes done a real article that I had shared with my team. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
We will definitely throw some resources in there for y'all to tune in with, and it's kind of, we're gonna wrap it up shortly. But last thing is, what's the ultimate vision for your NFT group and so y'all going on? So what's the long term? I mean, you don't gotta give too much. What's the vision for you guys?
So Greenwood District Society's main and ultimate goal is to recreate the Black Wall Street and utilize group economics to cut the racial wealth gap. Educate our community on the crypto life and the NFT art, and then create a society of Black-owned businesses that are marketed to our holders.
That is amazing, bro.
I think there's a fourth one. I might.
So cool. It happens to the most of us, but you good.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to join, like Greenwood District NFT on Instagram and Twitter, we're launching, like I said, April 30th. from there, we're gonna continue to keep getting partners. Shout out to where them boys at now. So we did a partnership with them.
I did see that.
So random holders will get the chance to go on expense paid trips through where them boys at now.
I did see that.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal thing, and I really want to touch on the wealth side. So we're doing two things. So we're recreating Shark Tank from our side of things. So we haven't figured out a good name for it yet. But when you're a holder and you have a business, you're gonna pitch it to the community. So whoever's a townsperson, let's say we have all of the 11,000 that sold out, you're gonna pitch it to the 11,000 townspeople, and we're gonna vote on who we're gonna fund, because that's that way. As a group, we decided we're going to fund our person up, right? That's one side. Then the second side, real estate, right? There's so many times I heard nobody has the capital to start. We're utilizing funds to dive into the real estate market and start giving back the rental income we get from properties back to our holders. So let's say we get one house, we got $1,500. Granted, $1,500, you spread it out, $11,000, it's like about $2 maybe. But we'll have so much generated funds. One property is not going to be the first one. We probably have 5 to start off. So now your original investment, you're getting back $15 a month. Now we get another property and another property. So we're utilizing group economics to get the job done for our culture. Like it's bigger than just us. And I stress that. And
that's what I love about what y'all got going on, bro. It's really about giving back. Little do you know, and I think that's where that leadership comes from. And you got a lot of things going on. From your clothing brand to the Greenwood to your iPhone. What's that business called again? You named
Dream Big.
Dream Big. You have a lot of things going on, but realistically, everything that you got going on includes helping and giving back in some way, shape, or form. So I think that's dope. But I think you gave a lot. So real quick, what I do want you to do is just kind of let the people know how can they stay in contact with you. So if y'all want to get in contact with Uzi, Instagrams, your business pages.
For sure. So personal Instagram is Black Bill Gates. So the black is spelled with a X, not an A. And then you have Dream Big, that's the photo booth. You have Greenwood District, which is the NFT project. Slum Apparel is the clothing brand. And then LinkedIn too.
Grams on Grams. Yeah, all of that gonna be attached, in the description below. But Uzi, bro, you let them know what's up. You kind of gave them everything, man. And last thing I want to ask real quick before we go, what's one piece of advice you'll give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
Brand yourself. Yo, create an LLC out your name. So I just did that the other day. I'm UT Enterprises.
Love it.
Tax cuts, all that.
Love it.
Rebrand yourself, LLC your name, and start charging anybody. You help somebody out $5, yo, I'm gonna send you an invoice, UT Enterprises. You do some simple consulting, $5, because it works out in the long run. Like, America is killing us because we don't have the education, but rebrand yourself and get your LLC in your name.
Make sure y'all follow him, man. But we'll see y'all very soon. Uzi again, I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate it. It's love.
Already, bro. We see y'all later, man. Peace.